Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a look at that there Yamaha track map. Back to you, Ricky. Oh yeah, Ralph, we're just taking a good look right here. As you can see, we have a black Honda. Nobody rides a black Honda in the game. I mean, in real life, but you know what it is, dog. Try to keep it going, boys. Try to keep it going. Oh, Ralphie, please don't ever leave us again. Oh my God. All right, so we got 2020 Tampa Supercross in the Supercross 3 game review. This is made by the same dude that made some of the other tracks, the Fluffy 101 dude or whatever. He's kind of been one of the bigger dudes making all these 2020 replica tracks. This is really cool that you can even get, you know, the 2020 replica tracks in this game, because if you don't know, all of the like base standard normal tracks in the game are all they're all based around the year before. So you're getting all of the 2019 replica tracks, but since they have a track editor in there, you get all these dudes going in here trying to make the brand spanking new, you know, 2020 tracks, and then that's what you get here. So it's pretty cool. Track editor definitely adds a lot in that sort of sense, being able to not only have the you know, the hardcore tracks in the game that were actually made from the holy whoops. Oh my God. Whoops got a little bit of skill in this game. Not as much as I think they should have, but at least they have some in this game. So either way, here we go. All right. So yeah, and obviously when it's a custom track, it's not going to be quite to the level of what, you know, Milestone, like them making a default track in the game would be, because they have all the special little, you know, all the little other decal tools and all that whatnot that us, you know, little peasants don't have access to in the standard little track editor here. So you can't make quite like it would be if Milestone did it, but it's still pretty cool to come in here and see this kind of stuff in here. So, and then obviously with this game having the more inertia and really having to get speed out of corners to huck triple ends, I feel like it really elevates this, not only this entire game, but all these tracks as well. So, just letting some of you boys know, I'm uploading so much here recently. It's just insane. More than I have ever. This is the most I've ever uploaded, I think, in my entire time I've ever done YouTube. So if you don't have the notification bell turned on for my channel and you want all of my notifications, I mean, like, it's cool if you don't want all my notifications. I'm just telling you, with me uploading this much, you're definitely going to miss some notifications if you don't have that actual bell on for my channel. So just remind you guys about that, because anytime you start uploading a lot, it seems like YouTube just really starts struggling to send out all those notifications to all your subscribers, you know. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the San Diego track I reviewed. It's just about as good as I would expect you to be able to have this sort of a track in the game. And of course, the one thing that's probably a little different about this is there's only one kind of dirt you can use in the track editor in the game. So whenever they go to like a Atlanta or a red clay or a, you know, like a Tampa, it's a little more sandy vibed, or a little more like loose, loamy vibe or whatever, you're not really going to be able to capture those sort of different kind of track vibe, on-track dirt vibes to it. Because of the simple fact that there's only one kind of dirt you can put on a custom track, and it's this standard dirt that you're seeing right here. Let me just write 10 trillion times right quick, boys. Definitely professional. So, yeah. So, you know, so when you start getting some of these other tracks that don't necessarily, you wouldn't really think that have that kind of standard dirt in real life. It can kind of throw off the vibe and the feel of the track a little bit. You know, this dirt kind of resembles more of like a standard Anaheim 1 dirt or some shit. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think this would really be like the dirt you would see in an Arlington or an Atlanta or a you know, like a Tampa, but you can put sand sections down. You can put some sand rhythms in the game and stuff. So, you know, there's a little bit of that. So he's got some of that vibe here, but I don't know. There's just a little weird thing that kind of goes on with this game where you can make custom tracks of these 2020 tracks, but there's just some elements you just can't get quite like it really would be if Milestone went in there and did it, like I was saying. So, but lots of skill gap going on this track right here, though. I mean, you can just tell there's all kinds of lines, really skill gappy, and then it's like, how far can you cut up the inside and still be able to huck some of these triple ends to shave off time in the corners, right? I mean, you can see me struggling here on this track. This is so fucking cool, dude, how this game really has that feeling of like you got to actually learn a track. You can't just go banging around the whole track wide open the first lap on it and hit everything perfectly like Supercross 1, right? You know, there's actually some thought. You gotta think. You gotta be like, damn, can I really like triple in here? Oh, how far up the inside can I cut? Like, damn, I'm gonna have to hit this rhythm, this first jump in literally perfectly to be able to hit this second quad into the corner and seat bounce it. You can see me not even getting it right there at all. Then you gotta take this wide to even be able to hook that triple in. Didn't get that shit either. You know what I mean? Like, you can really, really separate yourself on this track. I just love this shit, dude. This is what I love about motocross games, man. Like, you know, a lot of you dudes had this idea I was trying to turn arcade motocross games into simulators, or I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was trying to say that, you know, the first Supercross game, like, oh man, you know, that just needs to be so much more difficult to a point that, like, an arcade game shouldn't even be, and a lot of you guys got all these weird ideas in your head, and I was never saying any of that. I was literally just saying those first two Supercross games were so damn easy and so damn arcadey that it was to the point where it didn't even feel like a standard skill gap of a normal arcade motocross game. You know what I mean? It was like to that point to where the bike had no inertia and all this weird shit going on, to where it just felt like there was no depth to the first two Supercross games at all to me. There was just nothing there. There was nothing to them. There was no real substance. There was nothing to keep you playing on a track for more than 5 seconds because you just hit everything perfectly in the first lap, and there's no thought process. You can't separate yourself. So this is what's really, really cool about Supercross 3, minus those top blocks, dog. But everywhere else, man, I mean, look at the struggle out here. And, you know, and I'm not saying these arcade Supercross games need to be like a simulator where it's like, oh my God, pop off on every little thing. That's not what I was ever saying. Some of you guys try to defend the first Supercross game till you use blue in the face, and you just never could come to that realization that that was way too catering to the casual dudes. Like, it was way too far on that spectrum of you could be a literal 90-year-old grandma or a 3-year-old baby and still be flying in the first Supercross game. There was no skill gap to it at all, dog. Literally none. This has so much more than that. So much more. I don't know why I'm getting a little lag spike every time I come in here and record a video on this game, but either way, this track is no different. I mean, you can see going up the inside right there, and then still being able to triple that right there. Really, really tough. That's what makes you want to sit here and play these games more, man. That's what does it, even in an arcade game. Why the hell do you think Reflex lasted so long? I mean, why the hell do you think that? That was literally one of the most, I mean, I consider that the most skill-gapped, difficult arcade motocross game there is out there. That's what, I mean, that's such a big aspect to making the replayability value of a game, dog. Like, you know, even in an arcade game, some of you guys aren't realizing that. And that's the really cool part about Reflex and Supercross 3. You know, it's got all that next level skill gap, next level inertia, and all these bigger lines and harder rhythms and, you know, hucking systems and all this other stuff. But you can still come in here and have fun in this game, even when you're a casual, you know, motocross gaming fan. You can still do that, right? Like, I feel like Reflex and Supercross 3 caters more towards everybody, no matter what kind of skill level you're at, no matter what kind of motocross gamer you are, whereas the first two Supercross games, all they were doing were catering to the full-blown casuals that just watched Supercross on TV and never really played a whole lot of motocross games and just hopped in there and wanted to, you know, feel like they were riding in real life Supercross. But it's so funny in the irony of it, because real life Supercross is not easy at all. You can't just come up short on stuff and over jump stuff without penalties in real life. You know what I mean? There's a lot of skill to Supercross in real life. So it just frustrated me a lot how the first Supercross game was just so arcadey and no inertia to the bike. The bike just felt so fake in that game, dude. And there's so many more lines, so much more. And it's not just it's everything. It's the track designs, it's the seat bouncing, it's the leaning forward and backwards, it's the inertia, it's the whip system, it's everything to the Supercross 3 game, dude. Some of you guys really need to sit down and play this puppy a little more. If you're not really feeling the vibe on it, you need to give it a chance, dude. This shit's got it going on. I know it can feel a little weird at first, but once you get in there and start playing it, man, I would 10 to 1 rather play this shit than those first 2 Supercross games. I mean, 10 to 1. I can sit here and play this shit for literally like 100 times the amount of time than I can those first 2 Supercross games. There's just nothing to those other Supercross games. There's no substance. There's nothing there, right? So, but either way, man, pretty solid track right here. So, really tough quad to get into this corner. I mean, you really could legit have like a pro style racing event and scene in this game, and I do think they are going to do the whole DMR thing again here as well. Whereas, like, I just felt like it was so goofy to even have that in the first Supercross game for how much lack of skill gap there really was, and lack of inertia and lack of depth to the game. So what the hell is even the point in having a pro thing to that first Supercross game, whereas this is literally 10 times the skill gap, and like, yeah, you can actually have like a pro thing to this game because there's separating elements to it. And then the deeper you get into this, it's like, oh man, now let's see if I actually need to change my suspension, make it a little stiffer. Maybe I can jump some of this stuff better. Whereas the first Supercross game, it was like, what the hell is the point in changing my suspension? I'm hitting everything perfectly every single lap with my eyes closed. You know what I mean? So the more skill gap you get, the more inertia you get, it makes literally every single other aspect of the game 10 times as good when you do that. And that's what you're seeing here at this Supercross 3. So either way, shout the hell out to you, Milestone at MX versus ATV. I don't know what to call you anymore, but shout out to you, dog. Whoever the hell's behind this shit, whoever the hell's doing this, you got it going on, broski. You got it going on. This is what I've been saying. It's what I've been saying. So either way, but yeah, shout out to Fluffy 101, sick track right here, dog. Keep doing these puppies. I know it's gonna be a little harder to do like a Daytona or like an Atlanta and some other shit. It's gonna be a little harder to do that because you don't have the proper dirt in here to be able to do it, which would be cool to see in the future, being able to actually put red clay, actual red clay module pieces and like a damn, just a couple of different kind of dirt modules. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, bro, so I just think these rhythms are just perfectly distanced apart to where there's like that skill gap there, but it's not so ridiculous. You can only hit everything once in a trillion laps. It's not like that difficult, He's just, he really knows, like that Fluffy dude that made this track really understands the skill gap of this game, and he understands how it works, and he understands how to space stuff apart. So I just hit another line right there that I've not hit this entire time, right? He understands how to make things the right amount of distance apart without it being too easy and without it being too difficult. He really is just striking that perfect in the middle balance right here. I just love when track makers know how to do that kind of shit, It's like, it just feels right. It just feels right, dog. It's like, yeah, this is how this should be made. Thanks, appreciate you. And some people don't even notice how this is until they get on a track like this. But when you have somebody that doesn't know what they're doing when they're making a track and doesn't know how to space jumps apart and the shit's like way too easy, oh my God, it just gives you a headache instantly. Or it's like way too difficult. It's like, Jesus Christ, dog. And it's just, to each their own. Everybody's at a different skill level. So to some people, this shit's going to be like ridiculously hard. But I think he's basically kind of got it similar to the standard, normal milestone Supercross tracks in this game, like the normal in-stadium Supercross tracks, default tracks of the game. He's got this pretty much perfectly based upon that as far as like how difficult these tracks are here. So, you know, if you're used to the difficulty of the standard tracks in the game, this is not going to be a whole lot different than that. Easier or more difficult, you know, he's got it pretty solid on all that. So, either way, man, I'm excited to watch the race. Some craziness could go down, you know. It's starting to get to that point in the championship, but yeah, dude, a really solid track right here. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.